Our location in the Milky Way. The first person to try to figure this out was this guy, William Herschel. And he lived in the 1700s. So he had a telescope, but no photography was available at this time. So what he did was look through the telescope and either draw or describe to his sister what he was seeing. And he decided to try to figure out our location in the Milky Way by counting stars. So he would scan the sky with his telescope and count how many stars he saw in each field of view and yell them out to his sister, who would diligently record everything. So the first thing he noticed was that within the band of the Milky Way, when we look up in the sky, we see this band of light that we call the Milky Way, a lot more stars. Above and below that band, not nearly as many stars. So the first thing he could conclude is that our galaxy is shaped like a disk. Then he looked within the band itself and found that no matter what direction he looked, he saw essentially the same number of stars. So his conclusion was that we are in the center of the galaxy. Not nearly as many stars above or below us, but about equal numbers of stars around us within that disk. Now he was assuming that he was seeing all the way to the edge, and that the stars were fairly evenly spaced, so wherever you see more stars, that's a thicker part. You see fewer stars, that would be a thinner part. But there's a flaw in his reasoning. Interstellar medium. This is all the gas and dust between the stars. That limits our view to roughly 6,000 light years, which sounds hefty, but that is a small fraction of our entire galaxy. So Herschel was not seeing all the way to the edge. So here we see roughly the region that Herschel saw. So you can see it's a very small little section of our entire galaxy. So the interstellar medium is affecting our view within the disk. So looking out any direction within the disk of our galaxy, we cannot see very far. We are very much limited to this small little 6,000 light year section. But if we look out of the disk, above and below the disk, there's very little gas and dust. Our disk is quite thin, and so we can essentially see to the edge of the universe. So when we look at objects that are really, really far away, that's when we're looking out of the disk of our galaxy. So we are only limited when we are actually looking within our own galaxy. In the early 1900s, I think around 1920, Harlow Shapley, this guy, thought of a different way of figuring out our location within our galaxy. Surrounding our galaxy are globular clusters. These are star clusters found above and below the disk of our galaxy, but part of the galaxy. So what he did was measured the distances to all the globular clusters. He knew their locations in the sky, so he was able to make a three-dimensional map of their distribution. And because they are part of our galaxy, he made the assumption that the center of their distribution should be the center of our galaxy. So if this is more or less the distribution of globular clusters, and here's our sun, obviously we are not in the center of the Milky Way. And what he found is we are roughly 25,000 light years from the center of our galaxy. So we are most definitely not in the center. We are offset quite a bit. And we didn't know this until less than 100 years ago. So that is how we figured out our location in the Milky Way.